Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode 4 of my makeup series. If you guys missed the first 3 episodes, I will leave that linked down below for you guys. But in today's video, we are going to be covering the brows, how to fill them out, how to shape them, how to clean them up, what products that you can use for your brows. This video is going to be based on how I fill out my brows and how I do them. So if this is something that you guys are interested in, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so for starters, there are tons of different products that you can use to apply your brows with. There is a pomade, which is generally like more of a waxy, almost kind of like clay-like texture. It comes in a pot. I have never really used that for my brows just because they are a little bit more fuller, and I find that that product can sometimes look a little clumpy if you have more hair. So I would recommend that for people who have more sparse hairs or no hairs at all. The other kind of product is a powder. Powders are very, very nice. They're super easy to apply. I love using a powder formulation for my clients. You generally will add a wax barrier before and then top it with a powder, and it's really nice and really easy to apply and gives it a really nice soft natural look. The other types of products that you can use are generally a brow pencil or a brow gel, which is what I'm going to be using today. So for the products that I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Taupe. And then the other product that I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. Wow Brow Gel. This is also in the shade Taupe. I've always used the color Taupe for my hairs. I feel like if I use a brown, even like a cool brown, it just looks too dark on me. So I generally like to stick to Taupe. I feel like it's a good happy medium. A lot of people who have blonde hair also use it as well. That's an also important thing, is make sure that when you are picking out a brow product to match it with your hair color or root color as close as possible. Okay, so for starters, I'm going to be using the spoolie end of my brow pencil, and I'm basically just going to run through my brows and brush them, and so they're all like going the same way. I like to start off by brushing up, maybe brushing upward motions. I like my hairs to be all going majority the same way. I like more of a fluffy, natural looking brow, especially in the front corner, so I'll kind of brush these ones up a little bit, and then I'll make sure the rest of them, these ones are matching. I always look back to when I first started doing makeup. I never used to do my brows. I never touched my brows, waxed them, or anything, and now I do my brows, and I'm like, how did I go so long without doing my brows when I did makeup? Oh my gosh, I can't imagine like not doing my brows now. It's so funny how we look back to when we first started things and how we've kind of evolved to how we're doing stuff now with our makeup. Okay, so we're gonna start off by doing my brows and filling them in. I'm gonna be going with my pencil first. And generally, I like to start at the tip right here. And what I'll do is I'll kind of do like a light guideline as to where I want the under part of my brow to kind of shape. I'll kind of lightly sketch. And I'm doing short hair-like strokes because if you do one harsh line, it's gonna look a little funky, it's not gonna look right, it's gonna be very, very harsh and hard to blend out. So doing small hair-like strokes will help create more of that natural effect. Okay, so see how we have that nice line that's guiding the under part of the brow and kind of stenciling out how we want our brow to be shaped? That's exactly what you should be doing. And then if you feel like you have any harsh lines, you can go ahead and brush that out as well. You're just gonna lightly kind of brush upward motions. This will kind of help break up that line a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural. Now, if you look at my brow, you can kind of see where my hairs are a little bit more full versus where they're a little bit more sparse. So right in this area right here, I would say they're a lot more full, a lot more darker, compared to certain areas around here, under here, in my tail area, even a little bit in the corner. So now that I have my outline of kind of how I want my brow shaped, I'm gonna start lightly filling in with small strokes. Remember, small strokes, so that it'll give a nice hair-like effect. I'm gonna kind of start right in the center here. You kind of want to do a little bit at a time. So if you do too much, it'll look a little messy. So you can do a couple strokes, brush it through to make sure your brows are staying in the shape that you want them to be. And just kind of go back and forth in those motions.
And
make sure that when you're doing the hair-like strokes that you're going in the same direction that your hairs are going, because if you're going to be going up and down or in the opposite directions, that's how it's going to look a little bit funky. You see how this all looks like they're just hair strokes right now on my brow? I'm going to go right on the inner corner. Just kind of do lightly upward motions. And you can kind of even lift your brow a little bit. This will help tighten it up so you can really see your hairlines. I'm just going to do a couple light strokes right in the front here. And that helps give the illusion that you have more hairs. Okay, so now I'm going to do the top part of this outer tail area because sometimes it can get a little messy since I haven't created a line. So I'm going to kind of clean that up a little bit. Just small hair-like strokes. Okay, so now that my brow is filled in, I just want to make sure that it's still symmetrical and long enough so that it matches my eye shape and my face proportionately. A trick that you can do to make sure that your brows are long enough is you take your eye pencil and you want to line it up with the outer corner, the under part of your eye. And you want to follow that line to where your lower lash line is, like a kind of like an invisible line. You want to follow that. And you don't want to go past that line. So I'm going to go down a little bit longer. I'm going to reline up my pencil real quick. See how that perfectly matches up? That's kind of where you want your brows to end. And then I wanted to share with you guys another trick as far as the inner corner of your brows. A lot of times people will either not bring their brows in far enough or they'll be too far in. So a really easy trick that you can do to make sure that your brows are lined up symmetrically with your face is you can take your brow pencil, or even like you can take a eyeshadow brush if you want, and you want to take it and line it up to the edge of your nose like this. And basically with your nose and your eye, the edge of the inner corner of your eye where that's all lined up, that should be where your brow ends. Quick little tip, and that can give way a little bit here or there, you know, depending on, you know, how your nose sits compared to how your eyes, but you don't want to have like your brows setting too far back to where it doesn't look proportionate, or so close in to where it's like almost giving the effect like you have a unibrow in a sense. Okay, so now that I have my brows filled in, I'm going to clean them up a little bit. I honestly don't really do this that much, but for those of you that like more of a shaped, bold brow, I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So you just want to take a concealer that is closest to your skin tone. You don't want to generally use a concealer if you're using it under your eye because that's going to be lighter than your skin tone, and you're going to definitely see that line around your brow, and that's not cute, so don't do that. So I'm just gonna use my Maybelline Fit Me, put a little bit on the back of my hand. And then you just wanna take a brush that's generally flat, more defined, easier to carve things out of. So this is my Lexi 246 Precision Crease Brush. I love that it's super small and defined and just really easy to get that nice sharp line. I'm gonna take a little bit on my brush, make sure not to take too much. So for starters, I'm gonna start right under the inner corner of my eye and just follow the line. You kind of want to lift your brow up a little bit so you can really tell how you want to shape it. This is also a really nice trick if your brows are a little messy and you haven't had a chance to get them plucked or waxed or threaded or whatever. By using a concealer and cleaning up the under parts, it kind of conceals them in a way. So once you kind of create that line and that shape of how you want to sculpt out your brows, just take whatever is left and work that product in downward motion so that you're kind of blending it out so there's just not that harsh line underneath of concealer. Okay, so now that I have the under part all carved out, if you want, you can also carve the top out, or you can leave the top how it is and keep it more of that natural look. But once again, I'll just kind of show you guys how to carve them out. So once I carved that line out, you're just gonna kind of want to smooth everything out. And then what you can do is after you have your concealer placed and blended out, you can just take your spoolie again and just kind of lightly work that through your brows. You can even take it right on the tip of your brow and kind of blend out that concealer if you didn't have a chance to. Really keeps it more natural looking. That is a clean looking brow. Wow, I haven't done that in so long, cleaning out my brows. I usually just put the product on and move on. Okay, and then lastly, just to top my brow, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Wow Brow Brow Gel in the shade Taupe. You can use a clear brow gel if you like. I have used a clear brow gel before. It's kind of just whatever I have on hand and whatever my preference is at the time. But I'm just going to take a little bit of this. This will help kind of set your brows hairs, especially those of you who have more of a thicker brow like I do. This will help them from kind of like moving out of place throughout the day. So all you're going to do is just lightly, I kind of like to start in the middle just in case I have too much product on, because I don't want to put too much product on the inner corner right there. So I kind of like to start in the center, just lightly run it through in the same direction that I originally had brushed my hairs with my spoolie. Do a super, super light run through. If I'm not really filling out my brows that day at all with a pencil, I'll just do this and add a little bit more to just kind of fill them out. But if I already have product on my brows, I just kind of lightly do that. Alrighty, you guys, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you were once again able to pull a new tip or learn something new from this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.